We'll discuss now the rejection of momentariness. Nyāya-Vaiśeṣika rejects the Buddhist doctrine of momentariness or kshanik tattva, and it adopts a very common sense view because as we had seen in the first uh, audio, that things persist as the same entity until some sortable collocation of causes destroys or transforms them. For instance, a jug continues to be the same jug until we break it with a stick, right? And Nyāya-Vaiśeṣika also says that things exist not only because they are constantly perceived, but because Sat is one of their general characteristics. Even if no one perceived them, they would still exist. Uh, for instance, a very realist kind of ontology, even if I or you didn't exist, things would continue to exist all the same. So, they are robust realists about an external world, and that external world exists independently of our perceptions. Existence, the most general characteristic of anything is to be. It is its existence. Things have existence because they can appear to us, serve our purposes, and produce effects. And perception reveals existence but doesn't constitute it. Nyaya-Vaišeṣika also accepts Sankhya's criticism of momentariness, but not it doesn't accept its doctrine of Prakriti. So, uh, Nyaya-Vaišeṣika takes over the atomic doctrine that there are four material elements or bhuta, that is Kshiti, Ap, Tejas, and Marut, earth, water, fire, and air. And the ultimate constituents are the eternal atoms or Paramanu. And a fifth substance, Akash, is also eternal and all pervading, and it's the substrate of sound. And Akash is all pervasive, it's a sense organ for hearing, and it is the Srotendriya from the Nyaya-Vaišeṣika point of view. A deaf man has Akasha in him because it is all pervading, but due to why can't he hear then if he has Akasha? But because of his demerit, that is pap, some defect obstructs the manifestation of sound, hence he cannot hear. So, moral or karmic conditions can influence whether a sense for or function manifests, even though the substrate or akash is present. Then we have kal as a real substance. So, kal as a substance, so time extends from past through present to the future. If there were no time, we wouldn't know anything about the temporal order, and we wouldn't be able to explain how changes are linked with before or after. Now contrast this with Sankhya. Sankhya doesn't accept a separate real time substance. For Sankhya, the basic unit of time is just then time taken by an atom to traverse its own unit of space. For Sankhya, time is sort of like a way of talking about a change in Prakriti, not a separate entity. And it also treats time as a buddhi nirman or a mode of buddhi. Now, Nyaya Vaisheshika instead treats time or kal as a real independent substance that underlies or measures changes, and time reveals itself in different modes as past, present, or future according to how things change. And time is one continuous entity in itself. Space or dish is also a substance. It allows us to perceive things as right, left, east, west, up, down, etc. Kal is one, dish is also one, but our talk of eight directions, or when we say up or down, it is determined by our conventional ways of mapping positions. For instance, orientation of some or orientation of the sun or the cardinal points. Then the eighth substance is the soul or Atman, which is all pervading, is not located in one point. However, there is a separate Atman for each person. Remember, in Sankhya also there was a separate, Purush for every person, for each living being. All qualities of knowledge, pleasure, pain, desire, effort belong to Atma and not to our body or senses. So, you know, Atman is distinguished by its, so although it is eternal, all pervading, but it is distinguished by its own stream of qualities and karmic history. And then Man or Manas is the ninth substance. So Manas is atomic in size, extremely minute. It is located at a point. It is the vehicle of memory. It joins the self to the senses, and it is the vehicle of inner experience as well. Uh, so, how does cognition arise then? Cognition arises when the four join. That is, self, Atman, Manas is the connecting link from the self to the sense organ, and the sense organ is the connecting link to the external object. So, because Manas is atomic and the contacts only one sense at a time, all our cognitions occur in a series. So, because Manas can contact only one sense at a time, our cognitions arise in a series, one after another, and not all occur simultaneously. So, this explains why we don't have simultaneous distinct sensings, but we have an ordered stream of awareness. And over and above all, we have Īśvara. Uh, so there is a supreme lord besides the nine substances, that is earth, water, fire, earth, ether, time, space, soul, and mind, who is omniscient, omnipotent, and he is the director of the moral order. So Ishwar is not counted as just another substance in the Padarth list. Ishwar is a special being who uses the system of atoms, Adrist, etc., as his instrument. Now, what is substance then? So, Drav is distinguished, Drav is substance. Drav is distinguished from the other Padarth because it has some features. What are these features then? It's a substance which exists independently, or it is Swatantra. Then Gun, Karma, Samanya, Vishesh, and Samavay cannot exist by themselves, and they require some substrate, right? Substrate or ashray. So that the substrate in which these in her guna, karma, etc. This is called uh, drav. So drav is the resting place upon which all these others depend. For instance, color is a gun, but you will never see color floating in the air, but you will see some colored thing like pot or cloth, because color inheres in a particular kind of dravya, which is pot and cloth. The original six padarths in the Nyāya-Vaiśeṣika philosophy is Dravya, Gun, Karma, Saman, Vishesh, Samvay. Dravya is substance, Gun is quality, Karma is motion, Samanya is generality, Vishesh is particularity, and Samvaya is inherence. For example, the special inherence is like a special glue which joins the whole to the part, or substance and quality, or universal in particular. Nyaya later added Abhav also as a seventh category, which is non-existence. We have seen how Nyaya treats Abhav a bit differently as compared to the Vaisheshik darshan. Then Nyaya-Vaisheshik is pluralistic because it doesn't try to reduce everything to one principle. And it doesn't at the same time dismiss the variety of experiences as mere illusion. So it doesn't, have an all encompassing view that everything is Brahma, let's say, or everything is Purusha. So instead, it takes ordinary experience very seriously, being a realist uh, darshana. It analyzes experiences and concepts into the universal types or padarthas, and it holds that each type corresponds to a real feature of the world. For instance, if you see a red book, how does Nyaya-Vaisheshika analyze it then? So the book is an independent thing. It's a dravya. Redness is a gun in that dravya. And oneness of the book is also a quality, and it is treated via samanya. So because you have seen one book, so book it is red is its guna, and because that one you are seeing one book, how are you perceiving oneness? It is through oneness of that book, which is itself a quality, or it is treated as samanya. So perceptual situation contains several kinds of padarthas. And when we see that certain types of experiences uh, recur with similar structure and can't be reduced to anything else, then we classify them as separate categories. Then, how does Nyaya-Vaiśeṣika handle universals like whiteness, let's say? So, here we can see a contrast with Samkhya or Buddhism. So, suppose we see white color in milk or jasmine. Sankhya or Buddhists might say that each specific white is just that particular momentary appearance, and they might or might not accept a real universal behind them. But Nyaya-Vaiśeṣika says all these instances of white, they share a common quality, which is whiteness. So all whiteness they collect under a single quality type, that is quality of white color. But they don't worry at this point whether that universal is a modification of something. And they treat it as an ultimate type of thought and reality, that is a padarth in its own right, that whiteness. So that universal is itself a real entity, samanya, but individual whiteness in a given thing is a gun of that dravya.